Iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another.
I moved it. Okay, talk now.
One time, one time.
Thank you.
Back on USB. There we go.
I still
That's
can't
what it
hear
was.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's gotta be in that input. It could be marked wrong.
Okay, let me try it. Because I still don't
So
hear
we
it.
gotta start over. Was it in this one the whole time? So we gotta start over.
It was in that one.
So put a comment in there to the people. We're gonna start it over. Let me know when.
There you go.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the first installment of Iron Sharp Men. First, if you were already here on the live stream when we had technical difficulties, I appreciate you sticking around. This is our first installment. Sometimes things happen, but what do? We adapt and overcome.
Nope.
All right?
I have no audio.
No audio?
Nope.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, okay. Nope, it's back.
Oh, we're good?
Yep. we're
Okay, all right. All right, so we're working out some kinks. That
We're working
happens.
it out.
Everybody's been through
That
that.
scarlet and gold, we adapt and overcome.
Adapt and overcome, baby. All right, so I'm your host, Rob Kamizzi. This is Iron Sharp Men. Now that we got the kinks worked out, thank you to my producer. We got True over here. We call her Tara, but she goes by True. And we appreciate everybody sticking around and supporting us so far. It's our first installment. First, let me explain what Iron Sharp Men is. Iron Sharp Men is based off of the biblical principle of one man sharpens another as iron sharpens iron. So the ISM in Iron Sharp Men stands for Iron Sharp Men, but it also stands for how we do that amongst each other to help each other be at our best is to inspire, strengthen, and motivate. So ISM has two different meanings for the acronym. Iron sharpens iron. One man sharpens another.
From there.
All right, thank you guys for sticking around with us. I want to introduce someone. This is my first guest, and he's my first guest for a special reason. This is someone who I know has just recently, less than a year ago, gone through a very, very traumatic life change. And I want him to share that experience with you all and how he has dealt with it thus far. But I respect him not only for that, but for a lot of other things. We've known each other for a very long time. We met in Okinawa, Japan as Marine Corps guys. We were young guys, wild, full of testosterone, and we still are. We still got it. But we met over there at a very young age, and we were very energetic and we were very inspired and had a lot of drive, had a lot of things on our minds that we want to accomplish. And to this day, we're working to accomplish all those things. And I'm very proud to have reconnected with him in the States. We're in the DMV now. He's from New York. I'm from Baltimore. We somehow met in Okinawa and then reconnected again, living in the same place here. So I want to introduce you guys to Marlon Christie. Some people call him Coach. Some people call him Dad, husband. I call him my brother. This is Marlon Christie.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Hey, I thank you for the time. Thank you for being here, bro. Hey, like I said, we go way back, probably 96, late 96 or early 97. I think it's 96, though.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of years ago, many moons ago, as people will say, right?
Yeah, during that whole East Coast, West Coast beef situation, we were moving things during that time.
Yeah, so I definitely appreciate being here. We got a whole bunch of brothers that ride with our family, man. Shout out to Troop. Shout out to Rasta One. Shout
Definitely.
out to Boogie, man.
NBL
Big
for life.
Wigs, Cat Daddy, everybody, man. Lou Cypher, everybody,
Cammy
man.
and Fatigue.
Hey,
Yeah.
Fatigue, everybody, man. They know who they are, man. They know how we ride.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I want to start this segment off with I mentioned that my brother has last year, and some of our viewers are aware of the situation. It was highly publicized, and we're going to get to that part and how you've dealt with that. But I want to start back at Little Marlon. Now we call him, and amongst our friend circle, we all have a bunch of names. You know, we came up in the 80s and 90s where everybody had a bunch of different names, and plus we're Caribbean, so Caribbeans have a lot of everything that they do. So we all have a bunch of nicknames, but we used to call him the Jewel Thief.
No
As
doubt.
we were all rappers in the same rap group.
Yeah.
And he's since changed his name to Too Clean, and and he has his reasons for that. If he wants to explain, he can. But I do want to start back because I think there's a connect between your childhood and what you're doing now. I think some things just have a way of sticking with you for life and molding you into a certain type of individual. So I kind of want you to go back into Little Marlon. What your upbringing was like.
No doubt. Well, it's Little Marlon, not Little Ronnie, right? I think it's Little Ron, Little
Ronnie.
cartoon character. I love that guy. But yeah, Little Marlon, real talk. So before there was New York City, there was Jamaica, the country, Jamaica, the island, Jamaica, the Caribbean, Jamaica, the West Indies, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
St. Andrews, Kingston. That's where it all started. Like I said, little barefoot kid, bald head, climbing coconut trees, fall on the head. Bathing in the backyard in the sink with the zinc houses there. Only people from the islands know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
But the thing about it, it's a third world country. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had a lot of love. We one of the biggest families in Jamaica also, so saw a lot. But what I did see was a lot of love, man. Aunties looking out, uncles looking out, family just looking out, grandparents. Yeah. So how it matriculated for me, my grandparents came to New York. They left the family there, come to start a new beginning for everybody, right? And my mom was the oldest of all her siblings. So what occurred with that was they left her little money. Not enough to really make it happen, but she made it happen, right? She made it happen. So she looking out for her other 5 siblings and myself, right?
Yeah.
My dad, he rolled out before I was 6 months old. You feel me? So with that aspect, she did what she had to do. Then when it was time, my grandparents called her. Time for her and me to come to America.
Yeah.
We got on that plane. Man, saw snow for the first time on the ground, bro. Didn't know what it was.
That's a culture
man.
shock.
Yeah, that's a culture shock. Coming from, coconut trees and aki trees, man.
I can
and
imagine.
running around the island to now snow, man. I thought there was polar
That's
bears
crazy.
here.
Yeah, there's people here in the States that, they come up north for the first time like, what is this?
Man, I land, my grandfather, got the fresh 1999 plastic shell with the fake fur on the coat, right? Like,
And he
bro,
thought you was fresh,
couldn't tell
right?
me anything though, cause I was cold. Till
Yeah,
he put that
he put
joint
it on, it feels
so
like
that
a
was
warm
love,
blanket.
right? 1990, you know, in New
Yeah.
York City, if I was running around that for real, laughing stock, right?
Yeah, right.
But
But it
Grandpa
felt
took
good.
care of me. Grandpa
Yeah,
took care of
he
me.
did his best.
Yeah, so you know, out that household, growing up in the Bronx, man, what I learned is that my mother showed love through I'm a cook, I'm gonna put clothes on your back, roof over your head, I'm gonna beat you with that broomstick, extension cord, everything you need to keep you in line and make you a
Yeah.
good young man,
Yeah.
right? What I learned from my grandmother was she was a matriarch, she was a protector of me, I was her armor bearer. But everybody listened to her word and galvanized around that. Even my grandfather, he couldn't whoop me if she was around. He had to sneak get me when she wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But she showed the love where she's the one who cuddled me. She make me sit and watch wrestling, as fake as it is, bro. But I never forget, even to the day she left this earth, she would have me sit with her with the
Yeah.
plastic on the sofa. You already know the
Yeah,
plastic.
I remember
the
that.
plastic on the sofa,
And your
bro.
thighs all sweaty.
Yeah, and I was sitting
For no
with her,
reason.
and she would have her hand on her leg, and she put my hand on her leg, and put her hand up, and she just tap it the whole time. That was already reassuring me.
Hmm.
You're loved. I got you. There's love here. She don't got to say a
That's
word,
amazing.
but she'd hug me too. She'd kiss me on the forehead. She cooked, feed me. I never forget. Every meal she made for her husband, my grandfather, she made the same meal for me. So if I'm doing so, she get your come eat. I eat with my grandfather. I sit with my grandfather. I eat with him. Listen to him talk to me. He said, "Sometimes you blasted fool if I done something crazy." But he loved, and I remembered that. You know what I mean? And then what I got from all the men in my family, my stepdad,
Yeah.
my uncles, everything was, hey, we accountable. We hard working. We make no excuses. Good, bad, and different. Whether we got a penny or we trying to make many pennies.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
We gotta do what we gotta do. We not perfect, but we got. And I learned all that stuck with me, bro. But the streets still get you.
Yeah, they do.
No matter the moral fiber, your upbringing. Because my
least to
mom
some
working
degree.
nights, we latchkey kids, man. So the streets get us, man. Like I remember my grandfather come peek out, like he coming for work tonight, looking for me. I see him. We go hide down in the neighborhood. Don't let grandpa, 'cause he gonna
Yeah.
want me to come inside, right? But the street, we get into a lot of stuff, good, bad,
Yeah.
and different. But not what we want to
Most
talk
definitely.
about, but we getting into it.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And all the bros that I call them bros because you learn real quick growing up in the inner city who friend and who's foe, who really for you and who not.
Definitely.
And a lot of times it's by trial and tribulation, learning from mistakes through tests.
Mm-hmm.
When you think jokers roll with you and you get caught in situation, and lucky
you
for
need
you
those
if you're able to come
situations.
out of it, because some people don't come out of it. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I call them bros because they bros because they made it through the test. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Through the fire, through the gauntlet.
There you go.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
That's
So
biblical
that
too,
was-
being
yeah.
tried in the fire.
Yeah, so that was my New York City upbringing, man, and you know that led me to, you know, when I went to college the first time, I still didn't want to listen to anybody. You can't tell me
Yeah.
what to do. Streets raised me, whatever. You know, people know that story, right?
Yeah.
But I laugh and tell people before when they saw the Trail Speed Road choke out, people said, I was a Trail Speed Road before he was.
Before he was-
I choked out my first college coach, man. Don't tell me, like, you know who I am, though? You know you come from New York. You know
Yeah,
how you
yeah,
feel.
we know the struggle
Any in the
of,
city,
adapting
how
that
guys
kind of
feel.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and then my best friend was like, since he wouldn't sign the paperwork, let me go to another school. My best friend like, yo, come to the military, come to Marine Corps. I said, can we play baseball? He's like, yep, sign me up, dog.
And did that happen?
Funny story. So go to Marine Corps. So shout out to my man Go Knight out in Abu Dhabi. We go to Marine Corps, and Go Knight was number 1 in the class. I think I was number 3.
Yeah.
That was my dog. We was roommates too. And so what they did, because they didn't want to lose me to Marine Corps baseball, when they first came for tryout, the master gunnery sergeant called me, hey, come in. I need you to go work a working party. So he sent me on a working party the entire day for me to miss tryouts.
Now, what a working party is, for those of you who don't understand, that's where somebody takes you and has you doing some manual labor that you didn't really sign up to do. You actually had your day planned for some stuff that you totally enjoy, and they throw you into some stuff that make you want to rethink your whole life.
Yeah, so I do this working party the whole day. I come back, my boy Go Night like, man, they did you foul. I said, what happened?
Yeah.
They were here for trials, and you supposed to go, but they didn't want to send because
God,
you wanted the
that's
top in the
messed up.
class. But full circle, how it worked out. So being that I end up number 3 in the class, you get to put your top 3 places where you want to go. I put Washington, D.C., Miami, and I forgot the other spot. These jokers took the top 10 people out of the class, sent us all to Japan. Nah, you forget that. And that's how the
So
story
that's how you
rolled.
ended up in
So that's
Japan.
how I ended up in Japan.
So
and
if he
still
didn't
got
do
to
you
play
dirty-
baseball out there, 'cause I played
Yeah,
against the
you sure
Japanese
did,
pro.
yeah.
So life works how it's
It
supposed to
did.
work, bro.
So if he hadn't been done dirty, I would have never met this guy.
You're right, exactly. Path would have changed.
Yeah.
The story would have
Had a
been
blessing and the curse kind of.
Yeah.
You see it as a curse, but sometimes things are a blessing. The things that happen to us, it places us in a different space than we thought we were going to go.
And you know the
cool.
interesting thing is, and I talk about this a lot, is you know, and I rap with my wife too. Like, you know, folks be like, "Hey, God works in mysterious ways," but I don't believe that. I believe everything God do is deliberate and intentional. I don't think it's anything mysterious about what He does because we the only ones who don't know.
Yeah.
He already know when the time is going to be on our epitaph, what challenges we're going to face, the different roads He gives us. If we take this path, what happens? He knows it all. But I tell everybody what I really learned through this whole process you talked about and we'll talk about later is free will. We got that free will for a reason.
Yeah.
Because we're human beings. So that free will is given to us because that's what shapes us.
Yeah.
Because if He doesn't give us the free will, everybody walk around with gray suits. Everybody's boring. No one has personality. No one's their own individual, right? We're just a world of iRobots, bro.
Yeah.
So it comes all into full perspective for me. And that was the eye-opening, enlightening moment for me when I had to go through what I went through, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you know, I appreciate everything God's done in my life. I appreciate everybody He's allowed me to meet. I even appreciate, man, the heartbreaks, man, because what I'm learning from it, I used to always tell folks, through adversity or through what you may call disaster or moments in the world
Yeah.
that feels like things are destroying and crumbling, there's always someone benefiting, right? You look at the Great Depression, you look at anything that crashes economically, people benefit, not only the rich,
Right.
people who are clever and do something at the right time, they will benefit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything that happens in the world that looks like it's not good can be turned to good. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It can turn to elevate, motivate, and push people to another. You know, and another thing, a lot of people don't know. I was a 5%er for a lot of times in New York City. There's a lot of things people don't know about that.
Yeah,
I was a 5%er, you know, and I keep that stuff with me, the knowledge of self and all that. It was just certain things that when I started asking questions. When you can't give me answers and tell me you don't need that, I got a
Right.
problem with you.
Right.
I'd rather you just tell me I don't know, I'll go find out for you. I respect that more
Definitely.
than you try to push me to the side or sugar. I don't do that with my young people. I don't do that with you know me a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I don't do that. You know what I mean? So that pushed me away from that movement, but it pushed me away for a reason because that would have made me get too militant.
Yeah.
And I need to have an open mind so I can accept all people, respect all people, and go where I need to go as a human being. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So you just mentioned what you went through. People who don't know you or don't know the story,
No doubt.
don't know what you went through. It's coming up on a year in August. You had a significant event happen in your life, and I'm just going to share with you guys what happened. But this is something that most people don't deal with. There are some, and that's what makes this so important to share, is because, and that's the reason ISM exists. And these things that we're going to go into are not just for men for this particular situation, but men have been taught to be tough and resilient and hard in all circumstances, and to be able to adapt and just keep rolling. But there's some times where even as a man, things happen in your life where you kind of just have to be human.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah,
That's real.
yeah. Back in August, Marlon lost his son. Seth was 17 years old. He was on his way to being possibly one of the greatest baseball players ever to come out of this area. This young man, just from my observation, as they say, cut from a different cloth.
He's
But
a
I don't
real
really
deal.
want to say that, because I don't like to put anyone above anybody else. But from my personal perspective, Seth was mannerable. He was a stand-up guy. He was diligent in what he did. He was serious. He had a great work ethic, and he respected his parents. And you pointed out some of the things now that is still affecting you from your childhood, your upbringing, those important things, from the discipline, the toughness, and then the love that didn't even take words, where you're just being touched on the hand and you knew what it meant.
For real.
You all were given the same thing to Seth, just by the nature of the flow of that thing. And you mentioned that God doesn't work in mysterious ways. We see it as mysterious, but I agree with you. I don't think God works in mysterious ways. We think of mysterious as something that's astounding. But if you read the Bible and we understand who God is, He's omniscient and omnipotent. Whether you believe in Him or not, we do. That means that He's limitless. So why would I be
Yes.
astounded by
Exactly.
God who has limitless ability? I'm just like, He just did His thing. So when you understand that, then the flow of things go the way that they're supposed to. What was in you flowed down to Seth just naturally. You didn't have to keep on thinking about how to do this. And as parents, of course, we're thinking, what's the best thing to do in this situation? But the natural flow of the wisdom, it just goes the way it's supposed to go if you're in line with God. And I saw that in Seth. I never had to ask him a question, how you know that, or how'd you learn it, or why do you move like this? You just know. It's from the people that he's around. And his parents just flows naturally into him. Seth was 17, and he died very unexpectedly. I remember the phone call I got from Truth. And I try not to think about it, but the situation came, and a lot of us, you also mentioned about what people, are gonna do in a situation. You don't know what you're gonna do in that situation, but I've seen you have to deal with it. Right after it happened, where I was there the same day that we found out I was there, and I've seen this man have to deal with it from day one. And G3 is on his hat over there. This is the baseball organization that you and Seth started. I never saw him stop mentoring other kids. From the first day he found out about his son, he never stopped being coach. Am I right?
No.
He never stopped being dad, never stopped being husband. So for you to be able to do that, I've known other people who've lost children, and I've seen people completely crumble. They just go into a reclusive state. They're completely depressed and broken. And I'm sure you are inside. But you keep getting up, putting on your shirt, putting on your hat, standing out in front of guys, teaching, motivating, mentoring. How do you do that?
Well, I tell you for real, like, and I tell everybody, one thing I've always been about is I tell everyone don't judge anyone because you don't know anyone's story, right? Until you can look at them face value, see what they're projecting right now, but you still don't know their story. You don't know what's going on, what makes them tick or whatever. But one thing, and I've been sharing this a lot, is that I used to think people who commit suicide and depression were weak. That was me because I know what I had to come up through in life and so forth. And you always taught to be strong and resilient regardless, right? So I used to think those folks was weak. Until I lost my son, man, you know, he's one of those people that was in my life that, dude, that's my heart. Whole piece of me was died that day. You know what I mean? Obviously, like they say, Jesus rebirthed after 3 days, right? He was back, right? Lazarus was raised from the dead, but for me, as a human, you know what I mean? Lazarus was a human, but Jesus brought him back, right? Jesus was supernatural to me for real, the only unblemished lamb. But I'm an imperfect person, right?
Yeah.
So the thing that occurred was like, yo, how do I come back from? I was destroyed. I was devastated. I was broken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of folks looked at me as very strong, but I was broken. And I didn't want to get out of bed. I was sinking in that bed. But what I realized to me that I look at it now for folks, mental health is real, man.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the ability to come back and the support system, you don't make it. I'm fortunate. I have a support system. My brothers like you, Troop and One Love, and Proven, all these guys,
Yeah.
and my sister, and my family, my wife, my kids, everybody,
Yeah.
my G3 fan. I have a support system. You see what I'm saying? And I'm strong enough because of that support system. I can pull myself together because I do have the ability to come back within me.
Yeah.
There's people who don't have that. That life is beating them up so much,
Right.
and they have no one in their corner. That's when you see, oh man, this person committed this. Yeah, that's what happened. You know what I mean? So that portion is real. And then the other part that but a lot of people, only my close folks know, like people don't know that I'm real spiritual. Like I got a whole lot of word in me. And,
Yeah.
But I don't project, but I don't push that on people. You know what I mean? So that portion too, I was able to go to that because the church is within me. I don't have to put on a suit and go to somebody's building to know that God and Jesus got me. You see what I'm saying? So when I pull on all those things, that's what saved me. That's what helped me. And made me, and then I looked at the outpour, bro, like for real. When I didn't want to get up and come down and was forcing myself to come down, man, I sat on that deck at the house and I saw the love, man, all my G3 sons. And I call them sons. They got parents. I never get above their parents, but I tell them, they're my sons too. I love them just like you love them. I want the best for them just like you want the best. And shout out to my young son, Cadiz Queen Jr.
Yeah.
He just won SWAC Baseball
I
Player
saw
of the
that.
Year. I'm so proud of him. This young man came to me at 14 years old, and I watch him grow to be the young man he is today.
Yeah.
Beautiful young man. And he's going to do great things in baseball. He's just blossoming. And I got a ton of them out there right now. Kevin Chania III, shout out to you at Norfolk State. Trey Gaskins, Eastern Shore. Zenny Kimaho down in Miami. Elijah Cole down by in Kentucky. Marlon Baggett. Man, all my guys, man. I love all of you guys. And the ones who are about to go to school now. I love all of you. But it just showed that with the outpours, I'm coming to the house and just concerned about Coach and the family. That let me know that, you know what, God, you put me in the place I'm supposed to be. And the loss of Seth made me realize that, like you said, we started this together. I did this for him. But if you go back to the word, right, Moses never saw the promised land, right? Aaron did. But I feel like
Right.
it's flipped a bit because Seth was Aaron, I'm Moses, even though we're not brothers, I'm the son, he's the father, right? But what I feel is that they say the young people lead the way. Yeah, he led the way. You know why? There's no was that he's no longer. He's still here because we all got him in us. The young leaders got him in us.
Definitely.
I see the adults got him in them, right? So he's still leading the way. As I always tell the young people, I'm your navigator, and it clicked to me now. Gee whiz, I'm definitely the navigator. He's the leader. Seth the leader. God working through him. He's not
That's
here
awesome.
physically, but God and
Yeah.
Seth gonna make sure all these young people are taken care of.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So the big takeaway as far as how you've been able to cope, you say is a support system.
It's
And that
a
comes
real
from
system, man.
God and Christ first,
Yes.
inside you and the people around you. So, if you were to give advice to other men, and not just men, I assume it's for men, but on this particular subject, this happens to who it happens to, parents.
Yeah.
If you had to give advice, you would say, what would you say to them if they don't have a support system already? Some people are kind of, they keep a very small circle with them and their kids if they have kids. And then something like this happens, they don't really have a huge support system. Do you have any advice for them on how to cope with it if they didn't have that?
Well, I'll tell you what, before I even talk to the man, I'm going to give a shout out to Payne Elementary School. You don't think I was going to do that for y'all, huh? I was fortunate to be invited to go at their career day yesterday.
Ah, nice.
And I was out there talking about G3 and just my whole walk. Kids were so intrigued. Thank you for Janae Perry for inviting me out there. Thank you to the assistant principal, make me feel welcome. Security, the two young men who ushered me around, and very young mannerable men.
Nice.
They got great teachers over there. Kids were very articulate. But shout out to them. But I tell the young people and I tell grown-ups the same thing. I said, first of all, you got to exude self-love. You know what I'm saying? You got to exude self-love, right?
Yeah.
You got to exude self-respect. You got to treat folks how you want to be treated, right? It don't cost you nothing to show kindness and a little love in the world. And then most importantly, man, you got to have confidence. It's not arrogance. You got to have confidence. I think a lot of people suffer from lack of confidence because they've been beat up by everybody else. But I try to tell people, a lot of times, those people beating you up is just self-projecting their insecurities on you because they're afraid to do
Interesting.
something. Look at all the people who making moves. And a lot of time making moves don't mean you got to be the millionaire on the TV or the top 10%, right? Making moves is the person who, you know what? If I don't jump out into the what ifs, I will never know. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll never know. But you have so many people who would rather beat those people down
Interesting.
than uplifting them, encouraging them, propelling them, right?
Yeah.
So for men, I always tell men, man, hey, you don't get an opportunity to have an excuse. I talk to our young leaders, and that's what I call our G3 young men, young leaders, right? We project this to them from day one because we want them to believe that and achieve that. But I tell them, I said, you're going to be somebody's husband. You're going to be somebody mentor, somebody daddy, somebody coach, whatever. And I said, here's the thing. Someone's going to be emulating you. The thing about all that is you don't ever get a chance to put that down because look at the world how it's designed. If you're in a family structure as a husband, first, if it goes to the wayside, you know the word I can't say on camera. If it goes to the wayside, first thing everybody gonna say without knowing the answer, what did that man do wrong?
Yeah.
That's the first thing. That is the first thing.
Yeah.
He could have been chained to the furnace, being beat by the wife and the kids every day, getting one meal a day, and a dang little poot pot right there, right? It was the first thing. What did that man do wrong? You know what I mean? And so, what does that mean? It means, hey, in this world, you gotta always be accountable. You always gotta show up. You always gotta step. But you can't look for excuses. You can't look for a safety net, right?
Yeah.
You accountable. You can delegate it, but you accountable. You know what I mean? So when we get that into our young men head early, these young men grow up to be men. Because think about it, bro. When we came up, and I talked to somebody about it, we had OGs, right? But here's the problem with the OGs. The OGs were so focused on getting theirs, they wasn't raising us. So we end up having to get our own knowledge and learn. And our generation came out pretty good because it was solid dudes that came out that generation. Had to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So then you fast forward it with a microwave society that want everything quick.
Yeah.
You get young kids raising kids now. Now the daddies become real younger. And the mamas become real younger. So now you got kids raising kids. So what happens is that's not being propelled and cultivated and nurtured how it is to get them where they need to go. So you got the OGs not raising us, and we got to learn from the mistakes, and we come up good and we pulling along. But then the generation after us, they get so much younger
Yeah.
that everything is fast
They don't
track.
have that,
You
as
feel
they
me?
call it, the skin in the game.
Yeah,
No, I haven't
everything's
taken that.
fast track.
Everything's fast now. You're right. So things were moved at a slower pace back in the days. You learn things on the go, on the job, as they say. But now the job is going so fast now that you don't have enough time to really absorb everything and turn that knowledge into wisdom. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so so the men, I just tell the men, man, look, stay encouraged. You got to exude love. You got to show love. We too hard, man. We too hard,
Yeah.
right? Everybody too tough, man. You know what's crazy, man? Like, I don't really go to clubs no more. But when I went to clubs for real, bro, people had to be hard when they get out the car,
Of course.
in the line at the club, inside at the bar, holding up the wall, dancing hard.
Yeah.
It was hard
yeah.
till they left the club.
Yeah, can't leave
The
them with
late breakfast spot. You too
hips all
hard. Why you
tight
so
when you
hard?
leave. Yeah.
You can smile.
Chest tight.
You can have a
shoulders tight,
conversation.
Neck curtain.
You know what I mean? Like, we too hard, man. It's like
Yeah.
we don't know how to just be human beings, enjoy, love life,
Yeah.
love each other out here. We so busy trying to be so hard, living up to fallacies projected to us from social media and rap videos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, the news gonna give us nothing but negativity. They don't want us to see the positive, right? But it's shame on us as a community that we're not starting to see the tricks, the trickery, and the traps, and say, hey, you know what, man? We don't need the government. We can change our own community,
Yeah.
and that's a premise we work from. So I always say, like, you do your lane, I do my lane, everyone do their lane. We come together.
Yeah. And I've seen you
change
do that.
communities,
I've
man.
seen you with these kids, not just the G3 kids, but you just put on a free baseball camp
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, and once again free. And I saw you out there showing love to these kids, and everybody did. So that's where you actually get to see, because it's one thing if one person's doing something, but then if the people around that person, you see what that person is sowing just from natural, just the way you live. You see how it affects people, and they mimic that. I saw the G3 baseball players out there showing love to these little kids. They didn't look like, none of them looked like this was a job and coach made me do this. They were out there, hats to the back, sweating. They were getting down on their knees in the dirt, and they were teaching these little kids for free
Yeah.
how to play baseball, how to be team players, how to have fun, and just how to have a good time at an event. And it wasn't just baseball. They had the I don't know what you call it when you put the potato sack on.
Potato sack race.
Yeah,
you had
potato sack race, tug of war. Oh, the tug of war was awesome.
Tug of war
man.
was awesome.
Yeah.
We trained. I
Didn't you
trained
get
my
hold on,
young men
your
too
team
well.
got washed in that
Oh,
truck.
oh
tug
yeah,
of
I
war.
trained them too well, man. I told them. I said, you know what, coaching trained you too well because you done whooped me 2 times.
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
zone. I was sore the
They
next
put
day.
coach on
I was sore the
one
next
team so
day.
they could win, and it didn't go the way they planned it. This man wound up on the ground on a
With
losing team. If
15
you're on the
people
ground
on
at
top
tug
of
of
me.
war,
Yeah.
that means you worked till the finish and you won. But they actually did win. But just to see, because to me that's the statement, man. Your people, and that's what Iron Sharpens Iron is about. Your people around you have supported you through your loss and trauma, and it allows you to keep going. You have supported all of these young fellas, and it allows them to be motivated and keep going, but then they're giving it back to you. So they're energizing you to
Yeah.
stay motivated. And that's what Iron Sharpening Iron is all about. And that's why I hired you as my first guest. This is one of the toughest things a person can go through, losing a child, especially when they are still a child. You know, Seth was only 17, and his death was unexpected. It's one of those things where you get woken up by a rap on the door, and you have badges at your door asking you, are you the parents of? And that's a lot of any parent, that's got to be your worst nightmare. And he's lived through it. You've heard his story. If you want to reach out to Marlon, to Clean, is
no
my
doubt.
brother. If you want to reach out to him, you can reach out to him through me if you like, or how can they find you if they want to reach you direct? I don't want you to get overwhelmed.
Oh man, you
but
can
if-
overwhelm us, man. Look, we're here for the young people, man. You know, I remember we first started Groundbreakers Baseball Academy G3, and we were only one team, but we started on the premise. We believe that it's not about the quantity but the quality. You have many organizations want a ton of kids to get money, more money out of parents. It ain't about the development or training, more money to pay the people who working it. The crazy thing about G3, all our staff, we're in this because we love the kids. No one gets paid. No one gets paid to be a part of G3 coaching staff. And the great thing about that, everybody are skilled baseball guys, right? It's not we just threw a guy in here to help. You know, they can teach, they can develop, but they all know my expectation, what's the need, because I'm in it with every team from the beginning. Then they go off to other coaches.
Yeah,
You know,
and you
but
had
they get my stamp
Major League
first.
Baseball players at that camp.
We had man Charles Johnson,
And they were all in, too.
Yeah, we had,
Yeah.
they were in it, man.
Volunteering.
And we had great talks, and they loved it. So we went from one team and took our time. Now we 80 kids strong. We done send all our kids who went to college first wave, baseball, academic scholarship. We about to send a whole nother wave, and we're gonna continue to send those waves. But the thing about it is,
amazing.
we say, hey, send them all to us. And I'm unapologetic about it. I tell people, I'm not prejudiced, but somebody got to look out for our chocolate and brown kids, and that's what we here for. That's what I'm here for. I love my macadamia. We've had quite a few of them. I love them. I love the Robbie Shelton. I love the Evan Lazinskis. I love all our Davy Reynolds, all our macadamian brothers we've had, but I'm unapologetic about it. Someone got to stand in the gap for our chocolate and brown who understand this game, been in it, knows it, and then when it's time, you can pass them on to who they need to go to, because a lot of times our chocolate and brown kids lack the resources and lack the people who are skilled and are experts in what they do to develop and train them, and that's what we're here for. And we do it as cheap as we can. We don't turn any kid away because they can't afford it. We'll find a way. We'll figure it out. You got to love. You trying to do it? Hey, come on through with us. But you can find us www.ground-breakers.org. You can go to our Instagram platform. I believe that's G3 Baseball Academy. You can go to Facebook. I believe that's Groundbreak or something like that, or G3BA. You can find like that. You can go to Twitter at G3 You can find us all over.
So
the
as
place.
you can see, guys, he is not the social media expert.
Yeah, that's my daughter. She runs that.
So
my daughter,
again,
my wife, run that.
If you can't find them, you can find them. You can Google them.
They
Feel
run
free
that.
to hit me, and I will send you guys to his pages. And that's another important thing too. That support system we talked
Yeah,
about.
we got that support system.
Shout out to Genesis, and Trinity, and
they
Cherie.
running that.
They're the driving force behind all of that stuff, the brains behind that, social media and digital and marketing. And they have a lot of things going on themselves. And I want to send them much love for them powering through. His wife and his two daughters that lost a brother and a son. They have their own entrepreneurial efforts and are doing the same thing, embracing people all over the DMV. And if you're not from the DMV and you want to reach out to them, they're not going to turn you away. But,
my apologies. The mother in York, Pennsylvania, I owe you a phone call. I'm so sorry. I got tied up with life. I owe you a phone call. I thank my brother for introducing me to you, because you said your son needs some place to go to be exposed. We the family for you, and he's going to be one of my macadamians that's coming on. I owe you a phone call. I'll be reaching out. I thank my brother for reminding me that.
Yeah.
And I would like to say two more things to you guys. We can talk all night as long as he want to talk. I'm here. I'm good. But I got to give love to my coaches and my parents, man. Dante Montgomery been with me forever. There's a lot of people who cast him off, don't love him or whatever. He's rough around the edge. I've had him since 15 years old. And a lot of things people don't understand is something about loyalty. You don't cast people away. You know, loyalty is huge. We are imperfect human beings. And a lot of people walk this earth judging all the time. Yes, people may not be what you think they should be at a certain point, but that's okay. That's only for God to deal with. But Dante Montgomery been with me for a long time. I love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Cadiz Queen Sr., which is Cadiz Jr.'s dad, and Corey Queen's dad. I appreciate you, Poppy, Roberto Rivera. That's my guy. His son graduated from us, and he's out of Montgomery College. I appreciate you, Tony Milton. His son plays for us also. Diego with our gold team. I appreciate you, Mike Dorso. Mike Dorso, he's my neighbor. I used to see him run all the time. We just happened to get in a baseball talk because of my other neighbor. Kind of found out we had so much in common. He played for Gonzaga, another great base. Jumped right in, making life great for me, just doing the work, man. Hey, Mike Dorso, I appreciate you. James Busby, thank you for coming over, you and your son. I know you with 5 Star. You found your new family. I appreciate you and love you. Am I missing anybody? I don't want to miss any of my coaches because you all deserve love. Oh, yes. Hey, Devon Knott, I love you too, brother. I appreciate all of you for standing in the gas with me, working with me, seeing the dream, seeing the vision, what God is doing over here and jumping all in. All my parents, we love y'all and we thank you guys, because I tell everybody all the time, G3 is not for everybody. It takes certain families and ball players to be here with G3 because the expectations is high. And what we do and where we trying to take these young men is high and it's God ordained. And I appreciate all of y'all for jumping all in and seeing that you needed to be here. And you gravitated, you're galvanized, and they're all just, man, they're smothering us with love. I would tell you something, man.
Yeah, you deserve it, man.
When we were in that church, bro, and I couldn't see outside, and what people were telling me about outside, the service started at 11. They said you couldn't come in by 10. They said, and the lines was wrapped all the way around.
It was.
And further than that.
Yep.
And people stayed out there.
They did.
You see what I'm saying? And then when I looked into the crowd to see the sea of my young leaders and the parents, how can you walk away? You can't walk away. God is telling you, you need to be right. You can't walk away. And then I talked to my brother Dean McCall, man, and he told me, he was sharing something, and Seth learned a lot watching him in school, how he moved with the kids, right?
Yeah.
Good, bad, and indifferent. And he said, Seth asked him one day, how you do that? He said, do what? How you do that, move with the kid? And he told him, and he told me, he said, Seth told him, he said, you know what, that's how I want to be. He asked Seth, what does that mean? I want everybody who come across my path or know me, I want them all to know they were loved by Seth.
Wow.
And when he told me that, I said, all of us miss this as adults then. The young people leading the way. When he told, so every day, bro, that's how I get up and I move now, man. If you able to go to Fort Lincoln Cemetery, my son is in the mausoleum back in the back. I think you got to come up by the, you got to come up by the actual funeral home side, not the front, but the actual funeral home side. Drive that circle, go to the back, follow the whole hill, and you see the last mausoleum on the right, and then everything down is just bare. He's right there on this back side, and on his thing it says, "You good." And his picture there, everything there, but that was his thing. He always asked, "Are you good?" You know what I mean? And I never got it until Dean McCall said Seth wanted everybody he encountered to know they were loved by Seth. So I said, if you got a 17-year-old leading the way like that, what excuses we got as adults, bro? You know? Because I went to Ballou State and I talked to a guy, and the guy told me, he said, thing he realized, at 17, you the oldest young person, but the youngest adult. And all these things hit me, and I'm just pulling this in to let me realize God about to have a movement, man. Because you know what? Not saying I'm the next of nothing, but I feel like lately we don't have a lot of leaders stepping up who's unapologetic and not afraid to do what they supposed to do. Because I think a lot of people, they're moved by money. As you can see, we don't do nothing. Pretend I put my own house. We put out our own. They say, who's your sponsors? Oh, Camp Christie. Who's Camp Christie? This house right here.
Yeah.
So you don't have, I said, no, we usually have a donor every year give us $1,000 from Dick's Sport. Then they fired my guy. Dick's fired my guy. So we don't got that. Then, hey, shout out to Big Co. My guy, Big Co, his wife is our team coordinator. He looks out for us and finds money for any which way so we can do the stuff, give the scholarships to the guys to go to school. We do care packages for our guys in college. Every quarter, we just want you to think about
It's
school
not
and
just
baseball.
about baseball.
Nah, like when you leave, you still defend. Like Kevin Chania hit me up, coach, you know, mentally, what I do, get in the car. That Sunday, drove down there to his game, sat out there, watched my kid, talked to him. His parents was there. Oh, damn, coach. Then after they go home, I got him, took him to dinner, talked to him. Keep him. You got to keep him. It's not done after they leave here.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to stay connected with them.
Right.
Otherwise, everything you tell them is bull. Like, I hit them up. I text them.
Mentorship doesn't have an expiration date.
Yeah. You know, I text them like the guy say, hey, look, call me. Most times they not going to call you. But if they drop you a line, you drop a line. Just they young, they college, they figuring it out. But they know, oh, Dad, outside of my house, I still got family, right? Yeah. Anything you need, just tell us. If I can't get, I'm going to send somebody, we're going to get it to you.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole family. It's not just Coach. I'm just the head. You know what I mean? But God got Seth covering us, and it's flowing through. What they say, the anointing goes downhill, right? The anointing overflow. So I'm getting that anointing because Seth anointed, man.
Yeah, he was.
He unblemished.
Still is.
I'm blemished. Him and the Lamb, they up there.
Yeah, man.
And he's sending that anointing down for imperfect daddy to do what he need to keep doing for all the young people who's still innocent.
Yeah.
Right? Adam and Eve made us not innocent, but I believe the young people, so it's the adults that's bruised.
Yeah.
We the bruised, and I'm wearing them bruises, right? And I wear my son on my hands every day now. I never said I'll put anything on my forearm.
Can they see the tattoo? Hopefully, you
I don't know if you guys can see it.
That tattoo. I saw
Yeah.
those tattoos last
Yeah,
week.
but
Amazing.
I said I would never put anything on my forearm.
That is
But
amazing.
one thing, I put
You
his
did say
images
that.
in.
But
He had took some crazy photos of himself doing certain. He was down with MLB down in Florida, the Hanker and all that, and he took some great images.
yeah,
And I got those images, and I said, you know what? I'm putting my phone so I can see my guy every day,
yeah,
and I can look and be reassured every day while I'm doing what I'm doing. It ain't for me, it ain't for him, but it's through what he was about. And all these young people love him, adults love him, little kids love him. So I'm like, hey man, I gotta stay true to what this is about. Can never detour from what this is about. Everyone else, you can do what you do, but we know what we do is about love. It's organic, and the young people can see we mean what we about. We show up off the field, no matter what's
Yeah.
going on. It's just call. We
Yeah.
show up. You don't need an attorney. If you need one, we find one for you. But we show up.
Man, this is good stuff. This is a lot of good points here. A lot of good insight. A lot of great advice. You have an interesting story, and there's a lot more to it.
Oh yeah.
So
tell me.
we'll have to have you on again on a different subject or a couple of different subjects so
Oh,
we
for
can
sure.
go into some other things. But everybody at home who's watching this show tonight and will probably see the recorded archive, there's a lot we can pull out of this, and I appreciate you being here, brother.
Man, it's
I
love.
appreciate
man.
having you in my life,
Well,
and I
he just
appreciate
gave
having
you the
Seth.
tame down handshake. We got a whole family.
We got
handshake.
that other one takes about 30 seconds. But everybody, I appreciate you being here, whether you're watching the recorded, the live show, or you watch the recorded show once it goes up on the YouTube or Instagram, wherever. Producer, shout out to True, producer. She produces several shows here. This is our first installment. Had a little bit of hiccups in the first start of the show. Thank you for all you who stuck around and all of you who tapped in later on. There's going to be many, many, many more. But he was my first guest for a reason, and you probably can understand why. But I appreciate your support so far. Send some comments, send some feedback, and stay sharp.
Before you sign off, one shameless plug. Hey, we working on summer baseball instruction and stuff for kids right now. I promise you, it's affordable. Send your young people to us, man. Whether I tell folks, whether they playing the game, don't know if they want to play the game, don't know if they like the game, just want to be out there for the gloves and the cool gear. Hey, send them out. They don't know what they're going to turn into, but I promise you, they'll never be the same once they come and be part of that G3 family. Everyone can train with G3. You don't got to play with us because it takes a special young person to want to play with us, but everyone can train with G3. We a big family. We love everybody. I promise you, your young person will be changed. They come and hang with us just a little, but you can check us out. We done sent I can't give my phone number out because then I'm gonna have ladies calling me, and that's the problem.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, but you can hit us up, man. You can even email G3baseballacademy@gmail.com. Send information there. Go search us on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff, and you can send messages. We'll get back at you. I'll tell you, my daughters, my wife work that very well. I just do what I need to do. Be where I'm supposed to be, like here tonight. Take care of those young leaders and let the support system do what the support system do. That's what real leaders do. Do your job and get out the way.
Do your job, get out the way. All right, once again, appreciate you, brother.
I love you, bro.
Y'all have a great night. Iron sharpens iron. One man sharpens another.